there's one thing to have a puppy come into your consultation room that has a huge cyst on its side and you get to pop it, whereas if it's like an old man and it's like a cyst on his butt. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a little bit about my experience in choosing between going to vet school or med school. I know it's a challenge for a lot of different people. It took me a long time to figure out where I wanted to go. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory on how I got to the point of where I decided to come to Massey University and go to vet school. And then I'm going to go into the pros and cons of each. I'm going to tell a story pretty much, and if you don't want to hear my story, then that's fine. I'm going to leave timestamps in the description so you can just skip to me comparing vet school and med school if you want to. Just so you know, I've written notes for this video because I didn't want to skip anything out. So if you see me looking down, that is why, because I know this is going to be very important for a lot of people, and if I was at high school and I saw this video, this might make a big difference in my life. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you back to about year 11. So in New Zealand, year 11 is when you start NCA, our curriculum that allows you to get entry to university. And I did a lot of subjects like history and drama and French, and I was really passionate about the arts. I thought back then that I really wanted to be a lawyer because I loved talking to people, I loved drama, I loved performing, arguing with people. I had a lot of opinions and I wanted to talk to people. So I really thought that I was going to be a lawyer. I also did maths and science because they were compulsory in year 11, but I didn't think I was very good at math. Same with science. I loved science, but I didn't think that it was going to be something that I was going to do. I actually went to a small internship at a big law firm in my city that I'm from. It was basically a property law kind of company, and they were amazing. But after a day or two there, I figured out that law really wasn't for me. I didn't like sitting in an office all day, and that was the first thing that I figured out, that I did not like to be on my laptop, sitting down and not moving. That really settled for me that what I wanted out of my future career was something that I was up and about, moving and doing things, and I also really wanted to be helping others. Another big factor for me was in year 11, I had an incredible maths teacher, and he really changed my opinion on maths and science forever, for the rest of my life. And I also had a couple of other really great teachers in biology and chemistry, and I came out of year 11 having my best grades in science and maths and my worst grades in history, French and drama. So in year 12, I knew that I loved science and I knew that I loved maths, and so I wanted to explore this a little bit more. Through that, I decided that I really wanted to do medicine, and I love the idea of the medical field. I also really like the idea of the challenge that medicine presents. Medicine is an ongoing field, it's constantly changing, you're always learning new things, but I also kind of doubted my own intellectual capabilities. I didn't think I was smart enough to be a doctor or a veterinarian. I also at the time considered biomedical engineering, so the idea of building prosthetics and implants and working with patients and surgeons to build replacements, and I thought that was a really cool field that I was also considering at the time. I threw myself into opportunities. I put my hand up for every engineering thing that I could, started talking to people I knew who were doctors, or I knew people that were veterinarians. And so when I was going into year 13, I did two main things. I started volunteering at the SPCA because I knew I loved animals. What teenage girl doesn't love animals? If you don't like animals, you're a psychopath. There's a difference between loving animals and being able to deal with animals. You can love your dog, but that doesn't mean that you want to clean up their vomit, their I went to Auckland's med school open day. I also went to Massey University's vet school open day. I learnt a lot in that year, and basically at the end of it, I still did not know whether I wanted to do veterinary or human medicine. I kind of figured out by then that I thought people were gross. Like, there's one thing to have a puppy come into your consultation room that has a huge cyst on its side and you get to pop it, whereas if it's like an old man and it's like a cyst on his butt, like they're two very, very different things. At the end of year 13, I applied for both Massey University and Auckland University for their vet school and their med school. I also applied for a lot of scholarships. I would highly recommend this. No matter your academic level, scholarships are something that you should 100% give a go. And both Auckland and Massey offered me a scholarship, which I'm incredibly grateful for. And I don't want to sound like I'm boasting or anything in this video. I'm purely just trying to give context between how I decided between these universities, because it is literally the main thing that made me make up my mind was these scholarships. Massey offered me the scholarship first, actually a month before Auckland offered me a scholarship. And because I'd heard from Massey and I hadn't heard from Auckland, I assumed that I wasn't going to get anything from Auckland, and so I applied for Massey University and I basically decided that I was going to go to vet school. What comes down to it is I fully believe that if Auckland had offered me a scholarship first, I probably would be at Auckland University trying to get into med school. That was the main determining factor for me, and I'm very lucky and very privileged that that was my main determining factor. I found it really, really hard. So I 100% think that it was fate and the universe telling me that Massey was where I was supposed to go because of the delay in the scholarship offer from Auckland. And even within the first 2 years of being at Massey, I thought I'd chosen the wrong thing. Up until end of last year, I wished I'd chosen med school. It was almost like this vain way of thinking about like my degree wasn't respected enough, so I shouldn't be doing it. I should be doing something that was more challenging and was seen to be more impressive in society. That's not a good reason to think that you shouldn't be doing the thing that you're doing. So the thing that made me change my mind and realize that I was in 100% the right place was I read a couple biographies. I will put them on the screen. And I also had some incredible placements. I met some amazing people, farmers, vets, and some incredible animals. At the end of last year, I was like, why did I ever want to do human medicine? I have 100% picked the right career. I'm so glad that I picked veterinary medicine now, but it took me a long time to feel comfortable in what I've chosen as my career. All right, so now I'm going to go into the pros cons bit of veterinary medicine versus human medicine. So the similarities between the two are that obviously they are both medical careers. You are practicing medicine in both of them. You are a doctor in both career options, and you can do pretty much the same thing but just in different species. They are both very competitive degrees, and depending on the university they can be very, very difficult to get into. No matter which one you're signing up for, you're signing up for a hard entry into your degree. Both careers are respected worldwide. No matter where you go, veterinarians and doctors are needed. There is also many opportunities within both fields. So even if you graduate as a doctor or a vet, you can do many more things than just be a doctor or a vet. So vet school, pros. You don't have to work with humans. Humans can be really gross. Obviously you do work with people as in owners and farmers and keepers, but your actual patient is an animal, whether that's a dog, a cat, a horse, a cow, a giraffe, a rabbit, anywhere in the middle and anywhere in between. People can be gross, so I would say that's a huge pro. Another one is you get a huge variety of patients, large, small, exotic in veterinary medicine, and a huge variety of careers that you can go into with those patients. A benefit of having a veterinary medicine degree is that you have multiple roles in one job. So when you graduate as a veterinarian, you are a surgeon, you're a dentist, you're a GP, anaesthetist, obstetrician, radiologist, you're everything. And you don't have to do more qualifications if you don't want to be able to do those things. On your first day of being a vet, you can operate on teeth, you can do surgery, you can be in a hospital, you could be in an after hours clinic, you could do absolutely anything on your very first day of being a vet, which can seem quite daunting, but you don't actually have to do any more study to be able to do these things. Veterinary medicine is also normally a shorter degree. Normally in New Zealand it's only 5 years, human medicine is 6 years. I don't know what it's like overseas, but it's normally a shorter degree, and it normally is cheaper as well. It costs less to do a veterinary medicine in New Zealand than human medicine, but I think it's around 13 grand a year to do veterinary, whereas about 15 grand a year to do human. So it is slightly cheaper. I mean, not really, but in terms of your life, you will get slightly less of a student loan. The cons. So the main con one I have found is that you do not get the same level of respect as a doctor or a med student. Obviously, we learn a lot about medicine, and we do learn a lot about human medicine first, and then how to apply that to animals. I have friends who don't really understand my degree explaining to me what the common cold is. We understand almost all human terminology in terms of medicine, but it doesn't have that same level of respect. You also do not earn very much as a vet. You earn way less than a doctor on average. Obviously, this differs depending on what you specialize in or if you own your own practice. You have to learn a lot more, in my opinion, for less. Human doctors only have to learn about humans, and there is very little variety between human to human versus learning the difference between a cow and a rabbit. There's also the matter of euthanasia that you do not have to tackle in human medicine. We do put down animals. Humane euthanasia is something we see almost every day in small and large animal practice, and it's something that you have to deal with and can lead to a lot of compassion fatigue. So now I'm going to move on to human medicine. So med school pros are that you don't have animal patients. So if you don't like animals, you don't have to work with them at all. There are no animals involved, and people can tell you what is wrong with them. It's a very well respected career. No matter where you go, they always need doctors. It's very like, wow, you're a doctor. Like, there's a lot of respect that comes with being a doctor or completing med school. In general, you earn a lot more as a doctor, but obviously that does depend on where you are and what kind of business you're working in, and you get to help people directly. Veterinary medicine, you help people indirectly through their pets or their livestock. With human medicine, you're directly helping the person in front of you. The cons are that med school can be a lot more expensive. It can be a lot longer as well as a degree. You also, if you want to step up your career, becoming a radiologist or an anesthetist or an obstetrician, you have to do even more study to become a specialist in that. There's no variety in your patients. You see men, women, elderly and kids, and anything in between. But I would also say a con is that you do have to work with people. Depending on whether you actually can see yourself operating on a person or not, I have thought about it many times when we walk into a room and there's dog cadavers on our benches and we have to work on them. I personally don't think I could handle if it was a person, but I definitely think it's down to your emotional capability and how you feel. If I think of any other pros or cons when I'm editing this video that I haven't included, I'll put it in the description or put it on the screen. So here are my pros and cons of vet school and my pros and cons of med school. I hope I gave you a little bit of information that can help you make up your mind about whether you want to do vet or med school. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I picked one and not the other, but it did take me a long time to figure out which one I wanted to do. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I reply to pretty much all of them because there's not many of you that actually watch my videos. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.